Hello, and welcome once again to the Dental Marketing Mastery Series. This podcast is brought to you by dentalwebcontent.com and New Patients Incorporated. I'm Howie Horrocks, the founder of New Patients Incorporated. Along with me once again is my friend and partner and the president of New Patients Incorporated, Mark Dilatush. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our weekly podcast. We're happy that you've tuned in again. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Good, sir. What number of podcast is this, by the way? Is it like 10 something?
Oh, no, I think we're in the one.
Are we up by 110?
Yeah, 120 maybe. I don't know.
Wow. You know, it's like, it should be like the anniversary things. Like every 100, you should get something.
Yeah.
Right? Like paper or scissors or silverware or something.
Oh, it's 109. I just figured out.
109. Okay. All right, great. Well, welcome to our 109th podcast. You crazy groupies out there.
Yeah. Anyway, what we're going to kind of kick around is a very broad subject, and I don't know, this might turn into a series too. There's a lot to it, but what the hell is with Google Adwords?
Okay, yeah, it is. We're going to take this one step at a time and figure out how long it's going to take. How's that? Okay. We're going to try not to get it at all technical. Not that you can't handle it. Dentists are technical people. But because you really don't need to know it, other than what matters to you, what matters to the consumer, what to expect, how to manage it, like we always do. So, all right. So let's back all the way up, because we have a department here called NPI Command. That department does nothing but manage Google Ads. When we say Google Ads, we mean basically all search engine marketing, remarketing, targeted ads, banner ads, Google Ads, all that stuff is all kind of under one roof, right? So they are engaged primarily with customers client dentists who I'm going to say are at least moderately, have a moderate portion of their budget devoted to Google Ads. When I say moderate, these people, almost all of them are spending over $3,000 a month in Google Ads. So, and we keep getting questions with these podcasts and in our writing and on our Dental Marketing Mastery Facebook page, and just in general, email conversations with prospective clients. We get questions from all over the place. Is it why can't I just manage them myself? You can. That's part of why we're here. But then you get to a point where it almost doesn't make any sense to try and manage them yourselves. So that's where we wanted to go with this, is where's that line? How do I draw that line in my own mind? When should I get NPI's AdWords department involved? When can I start on my own? How do I start on my own? What are the things to look for, the pitfalls, so on and so forth. So this may take 2 or 3 of these. We don't know. We'll just get started. Yeah. So Google AdWords. Well, first, let's give it a definition. Google AdWords is a passive marketing medium. If you've listened to us over the years, we have 2 basic categories for all advertising types. They are either passive or aggressive. And that passive means you are waiting for someone to have a real or perceived need and search for the services that you may offer. That's passive. You are the kid at the dance who's standing in the corner. Yeah. That's basically what you are.
You're waiting for somebody to notice you.
You're waiting for a girl to notice you and ask you to dance, okay? That's what you are. That's okay. And again, we always have to say this. You may you may hear an inference in our voice, or we're not saying passive is good, aggressive is good, passive is bad, aggressive is bad. That's not what we're saying. What we are always saying is you have to have a mix of both in your marketing plan. Okay, that's the consistent that you should understand whether you hear an inference in our voice or not. So Google Ads are passive. There are many people who have a real or perceived need and use a search engine to go find a solution to their problem. You may need window caulking and you don't know where to get it. So you go to Google and you type in window caulking near me, and up comes all the hardware stores that sell window caulking, right? Basically the same thing. I have a need for a real or perceived need for dental services for me or my family or my husband or whoever. And I go to Google and I type in what I'm looking for. And Google brings up a search results screen, for the most part organized with the sponsored ads at the top and potentially at the bottom as well, depending on how many people are bidding on those ads. Then it brings up a map. Inside the map are some Google business pages with reviews and maybe even some Google business page ads inside the map with the little stars and the Google score. And then underneath of that comes your organics. Which website, local or social media local, looks to be the most relevant for this person's search. Understanding that Google knows where almost every surfer is in location in the world. There are exceptions, of course, the people who actually check that box off of the 97th page of the terms of service that they're never going to see.
Yeah.
So they know where you are and they know where their vendors are. They know where their businesses are because they have a Google business page. So they organize it geographically and by the search words and terms that you typed into your Google browser. Okay, those are the basics. So at the bottom of a Google search page, you have your organics. That's how well your website ranks against those search terms and phrases in general. And at the very top, usually you have 3 or 4 or 5 paid ads, and those ads have a little circle with the word ad in them. And the ad is written, most of the time the ads are written in such a way that they too are taking advantage of the search terms and phrases that you typed in. Maybe it's window caulking near me. Then the ad probably has the words window and caulking somewhere in the ad. And that's how they get up to the top. Maybe the second ad, third ad, fourth ad, is there are search term matches involved there. So anyway, so there's your ads. Now imagine, which none of you have to do because you're all dentists. Now imagine you want to bid on those ads. You're pretty much going to want to start off with your own Google Adword account, and you're going to need to know which of those terms the consumers use to find dental services. And Google has services. If you have an AdWords account, they have services that'll help you search. Like how many people searched for window caulk near me? And 116,927 countrywide. And then you can narrow it down within a certain geo. And then you get your idea of how many people search for those things. And as a dentist, you'll think of the obvious ones. And it's funny how the most obvious things end up being the first mistake people make, right? So,
yeah, why is that?
I know. So, well, the answer to why is that is because Google makes money. Okay? That will always
the answer.
That'll always be the answer. Okay. So, so now you say to yourself, well, how do I get my ads up there? And the answer is you pay. Because every time someone clicks your ad, you pay, I'm just going to use round numbers, $10.
Yeah, and that that expense is determined by how popular the search term is, right?
No, actually, the number of impressions, yes, Howie, the number of impressions, and the relevance in the search, in the keywords and phrases determines if your ad even shows up. Mm-hmm. Once it shows, you don't pay. If it just shows up and nobody clicks on it, you don't pay.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that's fine. That's what you were referring to. But when someone clicks it, you pay. You know what it's like? It's like going through the toll gate with an easy pass. I went through, I got to pay. Yeah. So when someone clicks it, you pay. And that person then goes to basically a landing page, some web page or website that you control with a message that you want them to see, with an action you want them to take. Okay? Your hope is that people near you who have a real or perceived need of dental services at this moment would find your internet property, learn a bit about you, and take some positive action, maybe to make their first appointment. Maybe it's to call the office. Maybe it's to schedule online. Maybe it's to email you. Whatever you want it to be, that needs to be on that landing page. So those are the basics of Google AdWords.
This might be a good time to stop for a moment for a little commercial break, and then we'll come back and pick it up on the other side, okay? So don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey, Mark, we should tell people about this new product we have, NPI Command.
Probably new to the podcast listeners, but not new to the customers who use it. So let me go through the finer points. NPI Command is a system we use. It's an artificial intelligence system that creates decisions on where dentists, our clients, should put their pay-per-click money when they do Google pay-per-click ad campaigns. If you're someone who's already done them, then you're probably frustrated by the cost of the negative clicks. Well, if there's an artificial intelligence platform monitoring your negative clicks, you can see immediately how doing these on an artificial intelligence platform will allow for a faster build and the faster allocation of the advertising money to the places that are bringing in good clicks. Because with every PPC campaign, there's sources of bad clicks and sources of good clicks. And the whole idea is to throw all your money in the good ones and pull your money from the bad ones. So NPI Command is our PPC department. And it's not just a department of humans, it's an artificial intelligence platform as well.
All right, we are back and we're talking Google AdWords.
Okay, so...
Yes, go right ahead, Mark.
Those were the basics before the break. And I'm going to say dentists with budgets... if you're going to spend $1,000 or less a month, you're probably not, and you're in a reasonably competitive market, you're probably not going to hurt yourself. Like maybe if you're spending maybe 10, 15% of your total budget and you just want to play around, okay. Go ahead, do it yourself. That's fine. But here are the realities, okay? And the realities are that if you put 10 dentists that were managing their own Google AdWord campaigns in the same town, if you put them all in a room and you said, I want you to write down what you think are going to be the most popular keywords and terms that you would want to bid on, those 12 dentists would come out with about 80% familiar. In other words, 80% of the search words and terms they wrote down would be similar in nature. Okay, like dentist Madison, Wisconsin.
Right.
Okay, if I had 12 dentists in Madison, Wisconsin, probably all 12 would type in dentist Madison, Wisconsin. Okay, so now here's where this starts to go off the rails, and this is where dentists hurt themselves. Okay, so Google Adwords is a bidding process. You are bidding to have your ad placed. Google's not agreeing to place it. They're just saying they're agreeing to take your bid. Okay. Okay. If you win the auction, or you're one of the 2 or 3 winners of the auction, then they'll place your ad. So, if it's a bidding process, what happens to a price when there's 12 bidders versus 1?
Let me go. I know. It goes up.
There you go. Okay. All right. So with Google AdWords, here's what we want you to get from this. And again, we're not going to get overly technical, but here's what we want to get from this. There's a balance between the number of inquiries. In other words, the number of times people typed in Madison, Wisconsin dentist as the most popular search term for dental services in Madison, Wisconsin, versus the cost of it. Search for Madison, Wisconsin dentist might be $27.36 every time somebody clicks your ad after that search. Because there might be 35 dentists all bidding for it, and they've all been playing this little nerd war like on eBay, right? Driving up the bid of a search term that they think is the most popular, that they think is going to bring them the most new patients. Okay? So what happens is once you get 2, 5, 7, 9, 11, 17, 18, 21, even in some cases, hundreds of dentists spending $1,000 a month each, all trying to do this on their own, all they're doing is raising the bid for the most popular search terms. That's all they're doing. And you end up with, let's say there's 100 dentists all bidding on dentist Madison, Wisconsin. Only 3 of them are happy because only 3 of them had their ad shown.
Yeah.
The other 97 lost out on the bid. Okay. So so they don't get new patients, and the other people spend too much money to bid. Okay. So you end up, what ends up happening is the only real winner in an environment like that is Google. The patient doesn't win. The dentist doesn't win. The dentist for sure doesn't win. Okay. So then it becomes, then you end up with 100 dentists who are saying, well, Google AdWords stinks, or it sucks, or it doesn't work, whatever. And then you have 3 dentists who say, oh, it's great. Okay. Because they're the ones who are winning, right? So you travel the country enough, you take enough phone calls, and you have enough conversations with people, you kind of know what's going on. If you're doing these on your own and you have a budget of, let's say $1,000 a month, I'm not going to say many, I'm going to say most U.S. markets, it's very likely you are being outbid, or you're just bidding on too many of the most popular search terms and phrases, and your search term and phrase list is not broad enough. So in contrast, let me give you an idea of how we do it on our end. If a customer came to us and said, okay, I want to start this new search engine marketing program called NPI Command, please front load my campaign, we would not sit in a room and think of the first 16 that we could come to. What we do is we load 700, 800, 1,000, 1,200 search terms and phrases, many of them so obscure, be amazed if anybody ever typed them in. Okay? But what do all the obscure ones and the not so obscure ones all have in common? They're all very inexpensive. You know why they're inexpensive? because you're the only one bidding on them. Okay. So few people click them, but when they do, they become good new patients, and your costs are probably 100 times less than the more popular ones. So we front load the campaign platforms with hundreds of possible search terms and phrases, not 10, 8, 16, or whenever you run out of energy to think of the next most popular search term or phrase, or the next report you get from Google that tells you the most popular search term and phrase. Google wants you to see the most popular search terms and phrases. Why? Because you knowing that drives up the bid price. They want you to be lazy and just go based on their recommendations, because they're telling Bob, Jerry, Sam, and Harold the same thing. And everybody's bidding on the same search terms and phrases. And for Google, they don't care. You get 12 cents a click or $120. There's some markets in the country where an implant search is $87. That's insane. And it's all because, not all, but most of it is because the people managing the Google AdWords campaign, they're not really thinking like a marketer. They're actually taking advice from the advertiser. You know what it's like? It's like going to a radio station and saying, I'd like to advertise my dental office, and the sales guy saying, well, all you have to do is do a 1-minute run every 2 minutes and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
And you saying, okay, and then fully funding it. Okay. That's basically what Google does with their AdWord department. So the campaign management side of Google AdWords is so unbelievably important to the end result. Now I'm going to close with, and we're going to have to do another one of these because I'm not even remotely done, but I'm going to close this podcast. There's a really good chance that, most of you with $1,000 a month budgets are in markets where there's probably competitors spending $10, $12, $18,000 a month. So your ads might run from the 1st of the month to the 7th of the month, and then it'll totally consume your ad budget, and you won't have an ad show up for the next 23 days. That's another thing that's going on with your ad budget that you may or may not realize. So you may get these little spikes in calls and then nothing, while your competition is cleaning your clock from the 8th to the 30th of every month, because they have a budget that's more in line with the statistical reality of searches in that given market. So anyway, we're gonna have to follow this up, Howie, because this isn't even close to what it needs to be for people to truly understand how to win at Google AdWords. And I want to make sure people do understand how. It's just like everything else. It just you got to do it for a while and see how the game is played. And once you know how the game is played, then you can win. You can't. It's like taking a badminton racket to a football game. If you don't know the rules, you're not going to win.
Yep. Right. All right. We'll call this series number 1 there, and we'll be back next week with the next in the series. We're so glad that you tuned in today. Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon. Bye now. We hope you've enjoyed our podcast today. You can find more podcasts on our YouTube channel, on Stitcher, and iTunes. Also on our websites, dentalwebcontent.com and newpatientsinc.com.